So today I've got the pleasure of introducing you all to the inspiration behind this summit, Dr. Lucy Burns. Thanks so much for joining us, Lucy.
Hey, Trace, how are you?
I'm really, really well, and always fantastic to talk to you. So, yes, you are the inspiration behind it. I was talking to you on my podcast, gosh, a while back now, and this was a thought that you had and put out there, and and one thing led to another, and here we are.
I know, but I'm so proud of you for giving it legs. You know, lots of people have ideas, but not lots of people act on them. So good job for you. And I think in the low carb world, we all just, it's all about being supportive of each other. And, I'm super happy you're doing this.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you. And can you just share with everyone just a little bit about you?
Of course. So I'm a doctor based on Mornington Peninsula in Victoria, and I run a weight loss clinic there, which was originally called Epiphany Medical Weight Loss because I felt that the low carb lifestyle was like an epiphany to me. I just couldn't believe that I had been, in the dark for so long. And seeing it was my light bulb moment or my epiphany moment. I know. I still have a very strong connection to that word, but we have rebranded, and my business is now Real Life Medicine, and I am partnered with Dr Mary Barson, and we now run the weight loss program in the clinics, but also now online, which just brings another element to it. But yeah, certainly I think, the way I came to low carb, like a lot of people, was my own personal experience of yo-yo dieting. I'm an expert dieter. I have been very diligent in dieting. And when I'm on a diet, I'm perfect. And when I'm not on a diet, I'm way off perfect. And that was my life for 50 years. Well, maybe not when I was little, but certainly for 40 years. And I just thought there's got to be a better way. Anyway, so a friend introduced me to low carb, and at first I thought, there's no way I'm doing that. What sort of diet doesn't let you eat fruit? Ridiculous. It's just a fad. Can't possibly be right. And I was sitting there piously eating my carrots while she was having a piece of cheese. And then we were actually away on holiday. So I looked at what she was eating, and I looked at how good she looked, and I thought, okay, I've got to do some research. So, yeah, suddenly I was a convert. And I feel so lucky because I know so many people, when they get into low carb, they want to shout it out and spread the word, and they feel like a zealot. And basically I get paid to be a zealot. I love it.
Awesome. Yeah, absolutely. It is one of the things I think people experience, like wanting to shout it from the mountaintops because, for the first time in our lives, we feel good and healthy and, like we start to look the way we want to look, and, we don't feel like we have to try so hard to restrict and diet and.
Oh, absolutely. And for me, the game changer was just hunger. Every other diet that I'd ever been on was all about hunger, and I had this idea that I had to be hungry to lose weight because, that's what hunger is. It's, oh, good, I must be losing weight. And so being able to lose weight in a way where I actually wasn't hungry was the game changer, because then not having to deal with hunger gave me, I guess, the space or the time to deal with that terrible psychological approach I had to food. Food was just nothing about fuel. It was all about tools to make me feel better. My whole life was all geared up around what food was I going to be eating at what event. So, whether it was book group, I'd be thinking, oh, goody, book group, that girl makes great cake. I can't wait to go there. Bugger her. I just want to eat her cake. Conferences were all about the food. Yeah. Because my life was all about food bringing me that reward and satisfying that hunger, but then, waiting till the next kind of hit of food. Whereas going low carb and being able to then get rid of the hunger and not have that in the way, gave me that space to fix my emotional eating.
Oh, wow, fantastic story. And you've brought a lot of that, I know, into you're bringing a lot of that into your talk at the summit. So can you share with everyone a little bit about what you'll be talking about?
Yeah, so my talk is on sugar addiction, and, you know, my name's Lucy. I'm a sugar addict. Sugar addiction is not well recognised or understood, or people will sort of go, oh, yeah, I'm a sugar addict, but it actually is, it's real. It is, you know, and I guess in the talk I talk a bit about what the criteria, the medical criteria are to meet sugar addiction and what happens about it. And like any addictive behaviour, whether it's alcohol or gambling, we have some industry exploiting this. So that we are in a society now where we are marketed beyond belief that somehow a chocolate bar is going to make us feel better, or that somehow by giving your child chocolate, you're being a good parent, or giving your child breakfast cereal, you are satisfying that breakfast cereal need, because, you know, we all know breakfast is the most important meal of the day. And I am so cross that this, you know, this is my passion. I know people have different ones with the gambling industry or the alcohol industry doing very similar techniques, and the tobacco industry did it for a long time and it's now been obviously banned. But I can see exactly the same techniques with gambling, and it's all about exploiting that dopamine drive that we get from eating that food and getting their product to have the maximal dopamine hit that we can possibly have, so that we want more of it, that it gives you a little buzz but not for very long. And the problem being, of course, is it's not very expensive, it's entirely legal, and it's available everywhere. The, I guess, summation of that is that then we become addicted and overweight, and then does industry help us out at all? No, at least at gambling, you know, there's some little thing about excessive gambling can cause problems. All they say is, no, you shouldn't eat so much. We didn't tell you to eat 2 blocks a day of our chocolate. I'm like, yeah, I didn't start off eating 2 blocks a day. It just evolved. And that's that addiction component to it. So, yeah. I guess for me, it's really, I'm passionate about, I would love industry to take responsibility. That's probably not going to happen. That's my bit of my own magical thinking. But I guess I can use that as a tool to make sure that I and as many people as I can reach don't line their pockets.
Yeah, it's such a fantastic and interesting area. I'm so glad you're passionate about it and are speaking about it. You know, the whole, what do they say? You know, oh, there's nothing wrong with our products. Everything in moderation. You know, just eat less, move more. You know, and it is. It's insidious, and as you say, it's not just, you know, food or sugar addiction. It's the same with tobacco and gambling and all that. The amount of money that they spend to get people hooked. I know David Gillespie, you know, talks that his latest one is the, you know, the addictive nature of phones and iPads and the smartphones on kids, and it's said the same. They've researched beyond a capacity most of us wouldn't understand, that how to keep our kids and people addicted. Yeah. It's just that hit, you know. And then of course in the teenage years, when, you know, can't explain it that well, but, you know, certain things are dialed down because so that they grow and, you know, and then they're really susceptible to these pathways being laid. It's just
the messaging is unbelievable. And I remember I was watching the tennis. I don't watch a lot of commercial telly. I'm sort of more of a Netflix girl. And we're watching the tennis over summer. And for some reason, I started having this hankering for iced coffee. I kept thinking, God, I just keep wanting iced coffee. How weird. And then I realised that Macca's had an ad for some sort of iced coffee thick shake. And it didn't occur to me that that was what was going on until a patient came in. And a lot of the time people come in, like, I'm not the priest, confessing their sins. And she goes, oh, I had a Macca's iced coffee. And I go, oh my God, that's where I'm getting it from. It was just every change of set, every ball, every end of the game, there was a little Macca's ad, 15 seconds. Here's this new product, limited time, scarcity, you must have it. And I think, Fortunately, my my cognitive thinking about never, I don't go to Macca's anymore. It wouldn't even occur to me to go to Macca's. So that sort of was filtered through, but the iced coffee idea was in there. So yeah, it's just
it's insidious and it's fascinating, but it's also, I think, learning. And one of the things I love about what you teach is that we don't have to be powerless in the face of this. So we can understand how they work, but also have a little bit of knowledge around how our brain works too in creating these habits. And, we do have a lot more control around this than we possibly feel, when urges strike and stuff like that. So that's a lot of what you teach as well.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of it is about boundaries, and and again, we get the everything in moderation is very unhelpful for a lot of people. But most people have boundaries; they just don't realize they have them already. And an example I often use is, if you go shopping and you happen to go down the biscuit aisle, you don't go down there and rip open the packet and start stuffing biscuits into your mouth. Because you'd be thinking, oh, no, I don't do that. No, because that's not right. So you've already set that. That's a boundary that you've had for a long, long time. You don't even realize it's a boundary. Even if you're at the checkout, you see all the food, all the chocolate bars, you might put one in your shopping bag, but you don't rip it open there because, again, that's a boundary. You've already set that. And so for a lot of people, it's just about understanding, well, what other boundaries could I bring in that would be helpful to me? So one of my favorite ones is the car. I used to eat all the time in the car. In fact, what I would do is stuff in, because if I ate in the car and I put the wrapper in the bin, it didn't happen, right? So so now I just don't eat in the car anymore. And I can't tell you how clean my car is. It's a miracle. But that became just a boundary. It's now easy. I don't eat in the car. I don't even think about it. That solved a problem. So yeah, sometimes just popping in and working out how can I empower myself to have a few boundaries. And it doesn't happen overnight, obviously. It takes a while and it takes practice, and it's not about failing, it's about practicing.
Yeah, I love it. Before I move on to the next question, quickly, what are you watching on Netflix at the moment?
Oh, well, we just finished watching The Heist. Have you watched that, The Money Heist?
Oh, my 18-year-old son keeps saying, Mom, you've got to watch this. It's really, really good. And I'm like, I don't know, but it's good.
Yeah, I liked it. Yeah. I have a very fussy husband. He doesn't, his attention doesn't hold for very long. So we get lots of the way through half a series, and he goes, yep, I'm bored now. I already know what's going to happen. So, yeah.
So I just had to ask, because we just finished watching Ozark, and now I've said to my husband, okay, you know what tonight is? It's at like half an hour scrolling through Netflix trying to find something new to watch.
Yeah. We watched the first series of Ozark, but he couldn't come.
It's dark. I didn't like. There was no characters I really liked in the first series, and the second series it got worse, and we were going to throw it away. And my sister-in-law said, no, the third series is the best. So we just skipped to the third series and we watched it, and it was brilliant. Sorry, just to put that in there, but I know everyone loves Netflix.
Yes, absolutely.
So my final question, back on topic, is your view on, is low carb sustainable?
Absolutely. So I know you've done low carb for a long time. I'm coming up to 3 years. People go, do you ever break rank? Of course I do. I'm a human. But I know that there's consequences now to doing it. And going back to my diet analogy of lurching from one side of the road to the other, I was either perfect or careering out of control to the other side. I now feel like I'm in this little lane in the middle. I've got my lane assist, and I just do a bit of this. And so, I have to make micro corrections, because like everything, a few berries and cream in the evening over 6 months becomes a plate of berries and cream in the evening. And I go, oh, I might have to rein that back on in. And you just make these little micro adjustments, and it just feels So much better than this careering out of control. So absolutely, entirely doable. It's all about your thoughts around food.
I love it. And I love how you talk about that, because I think that is an inbuilt wisdom that, you know, we've all got. We can all tap into too, you know, when our body starts working properly and sends these little messages. And again, when we see that a lot of what we think around things probably has, it's not as concrete as what we think it is. So we can play around with things and experiment, and that's all the fun of it, isn't it?
Absolutely. And listen, and learning that you can change the story in your head so easily once you realize you have that power within. That, you know, I was even talking to a lady this morning, and she was saying that, you know, for her, relaxation is sitting on the recliner, watching Netflix, glass of wine, and packet of peanuts or something. And of course, and she's doing that most nights, and, you know, she's not losing any weight. So we talked about, well, could relaxation look differently? Like, why does it have to look like that? And just painting a different picture, mixing that in with some, you know, the understanding of classical conditioning and Pavlov's dog and all of that stuff, which I love. And I guess even with my berries and cream, which I, you know, I get it. I used to be thinking, oh, berries and cream, yippee. And, but I kind of had to let that go for a little bit because my jeans were getting a little tighter, and I thought, yeah, micro correction. And I have changed it for bone broth. Now, I know there are people going to roll their eyes going, really? Hardly berries and cream. But it's about the thought. So with my bone broth, I think, right, well, I've made this. I've utilised every part of this magnificent animal that has given its life for us to eat. So I feel good about it, and out of it, it's come nutrition and nutrients and nourishment. So when I sit down in the evening, I now imagine myself, I'm closing my window, my eating window, with this beautiful cup of warm, nourishing liquid gold. Why would I want berries when I've got liquid gold? So it's all about what you tell yourself, as you know. So yeah, it doesn't come straight away, but with practice, you've got it all.
Yeah, and you know, like anything, we are going to start anything new. It's not going to feel comfortable right away, but you know, we know that it will. Yeah, we'll become a little bit better at riding that bike, you know, as opposed to when we first hop on it. And it's always. And I love it. You know, I'm so different now with that uncomfortable feeling. I used to run away from that. I used to hate it. I used to do anything to avoid it. But now it's almost like the universe telling me that I'm actually doing something new. It's doing something good. You know, this is the direction. You know, keep going. There's nothing to be afraid of. Don't be afraid of that feeling.
No. And we can practice. You practice that discomfort and get used to it, and suddenly it doesn't. Even discomfort doesn't feel that uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Oh, I love it. I love it. You're one of my favourite humans on the planet, so I'm so glad.
You too.
I love it. I can't wait to watch your summit presentation, and you know, all that you're giving to this is just fantastic. And thank you for what you're doing. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you to you to make it a reality. You know, as you know, ideas are one thing, but doers, and you're a doer, is another thing.
Oh, awesome. Thanks so much, Lucy.
Okay, no worries, darling. Bye-bye.